Hi everyone, Andrew Ienna, Director of Lang & Simmons Real Estate at Blacktown. I have something very exciting to share with you guys. Something that not a lot of real estate agents know about, not a lot of investors know about, not a lot of homeowners know about. A lot of architects don't know about it, and a lot of builders don't even know about it. So let's go. I'm going to bring it to you nice and early. So pretty much I've got my laptop down here, so I will be sort of phrasing from the laptop straight from the New South Wales Planning website. And what we have is we've got some diagrams of some town centres. These new town centres have been identified across New South Wales. There's many of them, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the ones close to my area of work. That being Blacktown, Seven Hills, Doonside, and the other one is Mount Druitt. They're the ones that are close to me. It also includes Penrith, but let's talk a little bit closer to the area that I service. Basically, these town centres have been identified by state planning, whereby subject to criteria that they put in place, you can basically get development approval for basically development that you previously couldn't. You were at the mercy of the local council, DCP and LEP. Well, guess what? You now have state environment planning overshadowing it all, and they've actually eased it up. Let me read you some paragraphs from their site, and I want you to know this applies in two ways. One way is 400 and 800 meters from a town centre, and there is, I believe, 3 of these development codes that are statewide. Yes, statewide. They don't need to be near a town centre. They're statewide, subject to criteria. At the end of the video, I will reference you to where to go to get this information, and if you have any questions, please get in touch with me. Here we go. So on the state planning website, this is what it talks about. Low and mid-rise housing policy. Here we go, first paragraph. The low and mid-rise housing policy is about creating more housing choice for people at different stages of their life. We need more low and mid-rise housing to fill the gap between freestanding homes and high-rise apartment buildings, so that everyone can have a choice in the types of home they live in. That's a very important paragraph. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the why right there. It's to fill the gap between the low-range housing, or which is basically your apartments, to all the way up to the freestanding homes, something in between. So let's go into the 5 categories. Dual occupancies. They are not the dual occupancies that you're used to. They're different. I'll come to it in a minute. So dual occupancies. Multi-dwelling housing dash terraces. Little hint, think of Surrey Hills and those Torrens Tidal terraces. That's what I'm talking about. Residential flat buildings, we know what they are. And shop top housing. That's pretty exciting. All right, so I'm going to go to the dual occupancy, because dual occupancy, I want you to understand, I spoke to state planning today and they confirmed this is not in the 400 or 800 meter radius to the town centre. This is permissible. Let me go straight off their website. Let me read this. Permit in R2 changes or R2 zones applies statewide, not only within low and mid-rise housing areas. Statewide, guys. What's the criteria? Let's go. R1, R2, R3, and R4 zones, statewide. Lot size, minimum 450 square meters. So 450 or over, we're a possibility. 12 meter frontage or more, we're a possibility. Floor space ratio, 0.65 to 1. Height of building, 9.5 meters max. Car parking, 1 space per dwelling. and effectively subdivision into two minimum 225 square metre blocks with a minimum of 6 metre frontage per lot. Guys, there are some other stuff which I won't get into today where you've got to look into, is it flood affected, is it bushfire prone, is it heritage listed. There might be some conditions on the back of those things, but just generally 450 square metres. Right for me to continue? All right, the next type is multi-dwelling houses. This is effectively where it is 3 or more dwellings on one lot. Basically, in R1, 2, and 3 and R4 zones, basically minimum lot size is 600 square metres, 12 metres wide, floor space ratio of 0.7 to 1, maximum building height of 9.5 metres, and 1 space per dwelling. Now, the way the lady described this to me is the multi-dwelling housing does not need to be within the 400 or 800 metres from the town centre. That's what she told me, so you'll have to check that for yourself. The dual occupancies, I'm very sure you can just be anywhere across the state subject to the criteria. According to the lady I spoke to at State Planning, you can pretty much do the multi-dwelling housing anywhere across the state. Multi-dwelling housing dash terraces. This is pretty exciting. This is basically 3 terraces or more on one lot. As I said, go back to Surrey Hills. Think of those Chippendale, all around those areas, those attached terraces that are Torrens title. They're not strata, they're Torrens title. 500 metre squared minimum, 18 metre frontage, floor space ratio of 0.7 to 1 and 9.5 metres high max, and half a space per dwelling parking space. Again, I'll leave that up to you guys to make your inquiries. I don't want to get too technical. And then basically your flat buildings, residential flat buildings, have a look at the maps, guys. Have a look at the maps for the suburbs. I interpret that you need to be within these mapped areas to be applicable. But let me explain, they've extended the map areas. That's what you got to understand. So have a look. And then shop top housing. That's pretty cool. So the shop top housing is effectively apartments on top of shops. Look at the block size though. You ready? 500 square metres minimum, 12 metre frontage, floor space ratio of 0.8 to 1, and a max height of 9.5 metres. I'm no architect, but the way I interpret that is they're giving provision to smaller shops, 1 or 2 or 3 shops with 1 or 2 or 3 apartments upstairs. Guys, please, 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 I am no architect. Please speak to town planning yourself. The website to go onto is planning.nsw.gov.au. If you have any further queries, please have a look on their website, and there are contact details on there where you can email them your query, you can call them as well. If you want to ask me anything, my number is 0414 707 011. 0414 707 011. As I said, guys, this is all subject to interpretation. That's how I interpret it. Please make your own inquiries. The lady I spoke to did say you need to conform with the DCP and the LEP from council, so it is still a development application, but there are criteria that the state government overwrites the local councils. That's it. Take care of yourself, guys. Thanks for your time.